channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Click that like button. Yes, I want to talk about something that Teofimo Lopez said. He's really confusing a lot of people by lying and saying different narratives in each interview. And I have the interviews to back up what I'm saying. He's basically saying that the fight won't sell in the T-Mobile Arena, that because he's Puerto Rican and there's Mexicans over there, that he would understand if it was in Madison Square Garden. But Bob Arum offered the fight for him to be on pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden, even though he did allude to saying that they won't put it on pay-per-view, they're going to put it for free. And but at the same time, there's a video stating where Bob Arum stated that he's willing to put the fight on pay-per-view to see how it sells, and put it on Madison Square Garden. That's where he's gonna sell, because a lot of people are gonna support Subriel Matias because he's Puerto Rican. But I don't think Teofimo Lopez believes that he would sell in New York City. I don't know. He's just contradicting himself. He's saying, "Oh, the fight wouldn't sell in T-Mobile Arena." He made it seem like Bob Arum was only willing to put the fight in the T-Mobile Arena on pay-per-view. And I was like, that makes sense that he wouldn't want it over there. But I don't think that's what Bob Arum wanted to do. Bob Arum wanted to put him, Teofimo Lopez versus Matias, instead of Teofimo Lopez for unification with Hitchinson, which I don't understand why Teofimo Lopez would want to fight for a title fight, unification with Hitchinson, if it's going to extend his contract to 5 more fights. He doesn't want to be with Top Rank. So he's really like delusional. He's very contradictory. He's contradicting himself. So there's a lot of different narratives that he's saying, and I say a lot of it is lies, and a lot of it is half truths. It's not really completely true. So he basically said in this interview right here that you're gonna see. He says that that Top Rank Bob Arum thinks that the fight with Subriel Matias will do better than Hitchinson, which he's right, because Subriel Matias, he may not be a champion, but he has a lot of Puerto Rican fans, and in New York City, it would sell. It would sell. But Teofimo will not sell in New York City, because Teofimo Lopez is not really from New York. He moved out when he was 5. His father was raised in New York. He's from Florida. Teofimo Lopez is really from Florida. He's contradicting himself. He's saying that why would Top Rank want to put the fight in T-Mobile Arena if it's not going to sell with a Puerto Rican? You're going to see in this interview what I'm talking about.
We just kind of throw the idea to Top Rank. They just didn't want to pay it. They just felt like it wasn't worthy. They felt like the Subriel Matias pay-per-view would do better than Richardson Hitchens in New York, which is for unification, and that threw me off. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys added up. What did I ever do to Top Rank for them to?
You see, he's contradicting himself. He's contradicting himself. He says that why wouldn't Top Rank want a unification fight in New York City with Hitchinson, and why would they pick a Subriel Matias fight? Because Subriel Matias sells more, because he's Puerto Rican. They offered him $800,000. That's what Teofimo Lopez said. They offered Subriel Matias $800,000, and and Teofimo Lopez is saying he wanted $3.5 million for insurance for that fight. But he's trying to say that the Top Rank wanted to make the fight in the T-Mobile Arena, which doesn't make any sense. Top Rank would never do that. I know Bob Arum is a smart businessman, and he offered the fight to Teofimo Lopez. He gave Teofimo Lopez $3 million, more than he's ever made. He offered him $3 million to fight Subriel Matias in Madison Square Garden, and if the pay-per-view took off, he will make more than the $3 million. He will make on top of the revenue of the pay-per-view. But he's making it seem over here in this interview right here. I'm gonna show you. He's making it seem in this interview that he's making it seem like that Teofimo Lopez was gonna fight in the T-Mobile Arena. He didn't want to accept that because it wouldn't sell in with a Puerto Rican. Look right here. This is what he says. This is what he says. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You see? Okay, he said he's willing to fight. If he was gonna fight Super Matias in New York without pay per view, then he would have took it. That's what he said. So I know for a fact that Top Rank would not offer that fight, Super Matias versus Teofimo Lopez, in the T-Mobile Arena. That's what he wants. He wants to fight in the T-Mobile Arena because he knows, Teofimo knows that he does not sell in New York. He does not sell in New York because he rubbed the Puerto Rican fans the wrong way when he started saying that Puerto Ricans are easy. If Puerto Ricans are so easy, then why you didn't take the Super Matias fight when you had the opportunity? You had it right there on the platter. But you obviously don't believe that you could beat Super Matias. But like you're promoting, I thought it was promotion. I thought it was actually you saying that Puerto Ricans are easy for promotion to make the fight bigger. But you really didn't do it for those reasons. You did it for those reasons because you did it for the reasons that you don't want to fight him. You want to undermine and say that, oh, he's not worthy of fighting me. And that's why you called Puerto Ricans easy and you said things like that. So it wasn't to promote the fight between you and him. It was to actually distance yourself from having to fight Super Matias, making an excuse so you don't have to fight him. That's what I think Teofimo Lopez is doing. And Teofimo Lopez needs to stop being a liar and contradicting himself and be honest with himself and be honest with the fans. He is not making any sense. So then he's willing to take a unification fight. He's willing to take a unification fight with Hitchinson, which makes no sense because that's going to extend his contract, right? Doesn't he say that he's not happy with Top Rank? So I'm thinking, why would he want to fight a champion but not fight Super Matias, who's not a champion, is not going to extend his contract? It just doesn't make any sense because he was getting offered the most money. Subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Click that like button. Click that like button. Come on. Click that like button. Yes. So I feel like right now what he's doing, he's probably gonna buy out his contract if he's willing to take a unification fight. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. What's going on? Yeah, crick the like. Yeah, crick the like. Michael Bush. Shout out to Michael Bush. Yeah, I said crick by accident. I meant click. I just get excited sometimes when I talk, but I speak with facts. Yes. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Click that like button. Okay. Mahaba from Tick Hype. Yes. Shout out to everybody tuning in. What's up, Troy? Troy, good guy. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to my channel. Yeah. Puerto Rico, Super Matias. My favorite fighter is Felix Tito Trinidad, of course, as far as the Puerto Ricans. Yes, I'm Tay. Oh, my bad, Tay. Tay, good guy. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you. So I think what Teofimo Lopez is doing, he's probably trying to buy out his contract, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. It's not easy, so I just feel like, what does it say? It's AI. Yeah. So I feel like right now what Teofimo Lopez is doing is not making any sense, and I feel like he's trapped with his contract. He has to think about doing something. His contract expires July 26th. So since his contract is going to expire in July 26th, I don't know if he could just wait for his contract to expire and not fight anybody, but I think he has to fight somebody before his contract expires. And he's over here calling out Richard Hitchinson, which I don't understand why he would say that that's a better fight than Super Matias when Hitchinson does not sell like Super Matias. Super Matias would sell more and it would do more because of the Puerto Rican fans and all the trash that Teofimo Lopez has spoken about Puerto Ricans. So I feel like all that trash talk is going to make the fight even bigger as well. And I feel like Teofimo Lopez, he failed to capitalize and build more momentum by taking that fight as the last fight before his contract expires. Because at the end of the day, if you don't stay consistent and if you don't prove to people that you're the best by being active and you just keep talking about past fights like Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, which those fights, those were good champions, elite, but at the same time, you're living off the past. And Josh Taylor was inactive for 15 months when you fought him, so it's not as good as it seems on paper. It's not that much of a competitive fight on paper. So I feel like he's fooling the people, he's fooling the fans, he's using media to just get clickbait and just get people engaged with what he's saying, but he's not really doing any activity in the ring. We want to see activity in the ring, not with your mouth. We want to see you actually fight the best, or just stop being on social media. Yeah, Tio versus Boots. My thoughts. I feel like he needs to take care of the 140-pound first. He needs to avenge his loss with Kambosos. At least prove that that was a fluke, if that's what he believed, that he was sick, that he had asthma. But I think that if he was to fight Boots Ennis, Teofimo Lopez, I think Boots Ennis will beat him. I think Boots Ennis will beat him. He may not have looked good in his last fight, Boots Ennis, but everybody has a bad night. But at the same time, like maybe he would definitely rise up for like somebody with Tio, because Tio's like the bigger name that he's ever had in his resume. But even though Teofimo Lopez is not, his abilities and boxing level does not equate to Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis is way above him, and even though he hasn't fought somebody like Teofimo Lopez is coming from a lower weight class, and he hasn't been even dominant in the 140 pounds. Teofimo Lopez has not been dominant in the 140-pound weight class. He hasn't. And he hasn't taken care of business with Kambosos, who I believe Kambosos is a very limited fighter. He lost to Devin Haney twice in Australia. And I feel like, Kambosos is not elite status boxer, and he's very limited, and he definitely beat Teofimo Lopez and made him look bad, and Teofimo Lopez hasn't taken care of that fight, and he hasn't been dominant in the 140-pound weight class. So I feel like he's just calling out the biggest names possible so he can actually stay relevant and not lose before he gets a real big fight. That's what he's doing. Yeah, I'm great. This is J.R. Ryder. Great unbiased opinion. Yeah, man, I keep it real. Like, it's not about being biased. It's about being subjective and being correct and critical, but also being critical with a subjective thought process and not being biased and looking at the intangibles that they have. I look at it like this. J.R. Ryder, thanks for tuning in. He said, great unbiased opinion. I look at it like that Teofimo Lopez, if he goes up in weight to fight Jerron Boots Ennis, he's already not dominant in the 140-pound division. I'm not saying that Jerron Boots Ennis is dominant. His last fight, he wasn't dominant, but that could be an off night that he had. But I would like to see Jerron Boots Ennis fight somebody at the level of Crawford, but I don't think he's ready for him. But he's way better than Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez has not been looking great in his last 3 fights, and he hasn't dominated at the 140-pound division. So why would he be dominant at 147? You know what he's doing? He's taking advantage of the fact that Jerron Boots Ennis didn't look good in his last fight, and he's trying to capitalize on that, and he probably saw a weakness that he thinks that he could capitalize on and look good on paper by winning a fight like that. But he might be undermining Jerron Boots Ennis. He might be doing that. I think so, because just because he didn't look good in his last fight, he wasn't dominant, doesn't mean that he's not going to be dominant in the future, and it doesn't mean that he won't beat Teofimo Lopez. So I think Teofimo Lopez is doing the same thing he did with Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was inactive for 15 months, and he said, I'm going to take the Josh Taylor fight. I never fought anybody at 140 yet, but that name is big. It's going to make me look good. And plus, he was inactive, and he's not the same fighter anymore. So he took advantage of that and capitalized on it. He's trying to do the same thing at the 147-pound division with Jerron Boots Ennis, but he would be sadly mistaken if he was to actually get in the ring with Jerron Boots Ennis, because I don't think he would win. But I feel like it's all about the money. He's just trying to capitalize because he knows his time is very limited. AJ64, Boots will hurt Tio bad. Facts. That's just some common sense. Like if you just put 2 and 2 together and you correlate their performances in the ring, and the abilities and the consistency of Jerome Boots Ennis has been more consistent than Teofimo Lopez, and he's at that weight. That's his weight, and Teofimo Lopez has not been consistent at 140, and he is not gonna just come up and just do a sneak attack on Jerome Boots Ennis just because he thinks that he didn't look good in his last performance. He probably thinks that he's food. That's probably what Teofimo probably thinks, but he'll be sadly mistaken if he was to actually fight Jerome Boots Ennis. Jerome Boots Ennis, he's very skillful, man. I still think that he needs to prove himself a little more, but I think he's very skillful, and he will definitely beat Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez needs to fight Subriel Matias. That's the one he needs to fight. Rosame Lano, Javante is a duck. Javante is basically, I feel like Javante Davis is talented. He got boxing skills, got boxing pedigree, and he has boxing power for sure. But he hasn't fought somebody legitimately in his weight class. Legitimately in his weight class, like that's naturally 135. He hasn't fought a natural 135 pounder. And I feel like this fight with Lamont Roach is just a neighborhood, amateur boxing competitive, rivalry they have. But I want to see him fight like Shakur Stevenson. I would love to see that. I would better Boots see Teal. AJ64 said I would better Boots see Teal. Well, you want to see that fight? I want to see Teofimo Lopez fight Subriel Matias, man. He's been ducking him for a long time. Right? Rosame Lano. Ryan Garcia is a real fighter. Don't scare everybody. He fight with Pitbull and Devin next. I don't think Ryan Garcia is like a real fighter. He got power. He got some decent power, but I don't think he's a real a real boxer. I really don't think he is. He has power. That's one thing he has, but power is not everything. You have to have the footwork, and I think between the Devin Haney fight and him, he should have fought clean. That's just the way I see it. You got to be fair. He should have fought clean. That you shouldn't have any advantages, and I feel like Shakur Stevenson will beat Tank Davis. A lot of people will probably disagree, and a lot of people would agree. But I think Shakur Stevenson is just a pure boxer. Yes, he hasn't looked good against De Los Santos, but he won the fight. He said he hurt his hand too, so you got to take that into consideration. I don't think he's lying about that. I think he did hurt his hand. Jay Ryder, Tank is spiraling out of control, out of the ring, not focused. Facts. Yeah, Tank is he just got too much going on, and he just gets mad easily. And in boxing, you gotta stay mentally disciplined and focused. And I feel like he needs a lot of positive people around him to keep him focused. And I feel like as a man, you have to stay focused within yourself, have your own foundation first, and then surround yourself around positive people. But if you can't be positive within yourself without people, then you're going to spiral out of control and you're going to lose focus and discipline. You have to have discipline within your own foundation first, and then you add people in your foundation that are positive. That just makes it more broader, your focus. But you should always have focus within yourself first as a man, as an individual. Don't make people, you shouldn't rely on people to make you focus. You should always be focused first. But if you're focused already, it's always good to have more positive people in your team, because then you grow together. You unite the frequencies with each other. You grow and expand with your own foundation. But your foundation has to be right, and then add other people's foundation that's right, that matches yours, so you could accomplish your goals. That's what successful people do. Rosame Lano, but Shakur has no power. Is not everything, and you can't say that he doesn't have boxing ability, and he does. He can hurt you with a lot of combinations. It's not about only power. It's also about technique and boxing ability and boxing skills and defense. Everything is not power. A lot of people always say, "Oh, he has no power." Pernell Whitaker had no power, but he was dominant. He beat Julio Cesar Chavez, even though they gave him a draw. You gotta stop being just like one-dimensional about analyzing a fight. And power is not everything. Your power is great to have. But if you have power and only power but no boxing skills, that could be your detriment as well. So you have to have the total package. And I feel like Shakur Stevenson may not have power, but he has some kind of pop in his punch, but he has more boxing ability. And I feel like it's enough for him to win a fight against Tank Davis. Will he be able to hurt Tank Davis? Maybe not. But will he be able to like surprise him, keep him at bay? He could. He has the boxing ability to do it. But it's always good to have the whole package. And I think that Shakur Stevenson has enough pop in his punches with the boxing ability overriding the fact that he doesn't have like extreme power, but he has some kind of pop. That is what makes it official for him to actually be able to dominate the fighters that he fights. Because if he fights like the way he fought De Los Santos against Tank Davis, he probably could win a fight like that, because he has boxing ability. But it's an interesting fight because I feel like Tank Davis has boxing ability too and power, but his power is more greater than his boxing ability. He does have boxing ability though. Rosama, but there are fighters who resist hard blows so much, and I think Shakur is one of those. But if you look at Pitbull Cruz, he does have a jaw. Yeah, Pitbull Cruz has a chin, but just getting hit and getting outlanded with combinations is not going to help you win a fight. And I feel like Shakur Stevenson, he can take a shot too. He could, but can he take Tank Davis' shot? That remains to be seen. I think he will be able to because he has enough defense and boxing ability. He fights good with his legs, and he's able to stay right in front of you and still dodge a lot of combinations. But will he do that with Tank Davis? That's what makes the fight so intriguing. You're right. I would better see that SB fight. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's a better fight. The SB fight was SB. Oh, Subriel. The Subriel fight, right? Hi, how you doing, Marcel? How you doing, Marcel? Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Rosame Lano. I don't think Shakur could even hurt Javante a bit. Maybe not, but he'll be able to probably win the fight by unanimous decision as long as he keeps him away. Like, yeah, it's always good to hurt your opponent, to make him back off a little, keep him at bay. That's a very interesting comment. Like, if he doesn't hurt Tank Davis, will he be able to beat Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson? That remains to be seen. It's a very intriguing fight. Very intriguing. Like, I just feel like that fight will be so intriguing because we don't know who's going to dominate who the most with the power or the boxing ability. That's where this boxing pedigree comes in, and you say, wow, you really get engaged and you feel like, wow, boxing is mental too. It's not only physical. There's a lot of different attributes in boxing, but having power does help. I'm not saying that Shakur Stevenson needs power and one punch power to beat Tank Davis. No, he has the boxing pedigree. Analdo Nieves, saludo Tony en chat, saludo mi hermanito, saludo. Gracias por estar en el canal mío y velar el contenido mío. Suscríbete a mi canal. Frontline, saludos, Corillo. Frontline, appreciate you. Saludos, mi hermano. Te aprecio. Suscribe a mi canal y gracias por estar cintunado en mi canal y velar el contenido mío. Gracias, mi hermano. Arnaldo Nieves, Frontline, mi hermano. Sí, ya tú sabes, boricua para siempre. Sobre el Matías, él está supuesto ganar la pelea. Él va a pelear con el mexicano Valenzuela. Subriel Matias is going to fight Valenzuela, a Mexican guy that's saying that Subriel Matias has no defense. So he's just already like hyping up the fight. And, that's going to make the fight intriguing. Que él está diciendo que Valenzuela está diciendo que Subriel Matias no tiene defensa y que le va a ganar a Subriel Matias como si fuera pan comido, y eso no es así. Pero eso es para promover la pelea, y eso va a ayudar ¿cómo se dice? El algoritmo y la gente van a ponerse en sintonía para ver la pelea por esa razón. Yeah, so it's just promotion, like Subriel Matias' opponent, Valenzuela, is saying that Subriel Matias has no defense, so he's just trying to I guess it's probably disrespecting him to make the fight bigger, or probably just disrespecting him because he probably truly believes that. But a lot of people that say that, they wind up getting hurt by Subriel Matias and they wound up getting knocked out. And the Mexican guy Valenzuela, he don't have the greatest defense either, you know. But I think Subriel Matias does have deceptive defense. He does. He's not Pernell Whitaker or Mayweather, but he does have some defense. Yes, I know that styles make fights. Rosamo Lano, appreciate you for tuning in. Arnaldo Nieves, mexicano duro, sí, sí, Arnaldo Nieves, el mexicano sí es duro. Me dicen que tiene como 24 peleas, 18 knockouts. I think he has like 24 fights, 18 knockouts. Valenzuela, the guy that's fighting Subriel Matias. So, yeah, my boy Arnaldo Nieves is saying that the Mexican he's hard, he's hardcore. Él es duro. No, yo te creo. El mexicano, eso va a ser una pelea interesante, pero la pelea que yo quería ver era la de Subriel Matías con Teofimo López, pero Teofimo López es un cobarde. Él no quiere pelear con los mejores. Él quiere pelear con los nombres más grandes porque él sabe que le falta poco en su carrera, no tiene la mentalidad y la habilidad, ya está perdiendo la confianza, ya no tiene el mismo nivel que tenía antes cuando estaba peleando con Lomachenko. So, quiere buscar la pelea más grande antes de que él pierda con alguien que él gane menos dinero. Yeah, so same here. Duck and Teal versus Matias. Yeah, Arnaldo Nieves. Facts. Teal or Mount. Facts. Subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. I just had to get this off my chest because the stuff that he's saying in the video is just he's contradicting himself so much. He'll say something like, "Oh, I don't want to fight another champion because it's gonna extend my fight." My contract with Top Rank for 5 more fights, but then he wants to fight Richard Hitchinson. That's going to extend his boxing contract with Top Rank. So then why is he doing that? Why would he be willing to fight him in Madison Square Garden, but not fight Subriel Matias in Madison Square Garden, where he's going to actually sell more? The pay-per-view is going to do better because Subriel Matias already has a Puerto Rican fan base. And the thing is, Teofimo Lopez is not really from New York. So that's why he don't want to fight in New York. And he didn't want to do the fight on pay-per-view if he fights Subriel Matias in Madison Square Garden. That's what it sounds like. But from what I understand, Top Rank said they didn't want to put the fight on pay-per-view, but then they changed their mind and they said we're going to put it on pay-per-view in Madison Square Garden with Subriel Matias and see how he does with the pay-per-view. See how Teofimo Lopez does with the pay-per-view. But then Teofimo Lopez is contradicting himself, saying that, oh, why would they want to make the fight in the T-Mobile Arena? Like, it's not going to sell against a Puerto Rican fighter if I fight Subriel Matias in the T-Mobile Arena. No, I think that's what he wants. He wants to fight in the T-Mobile Arena because he knows he don't get support in New York. Teofimo Lopez. Yeah, man. Front line. Teo can't handle Subriel's pressure. Facts. I know he can't. He can't even handle the pressure of the Sando Martin, the Argentine that beat him in a couple of fights ago. He couldn't even handle the pressure of Claggett. Who the hell's Claggett? He couldn't handle the pressure with Claggett? I mean, he beat Claggett, but, like, come on. Claggett's no Superman, like the way Top Rank said. And he didn't even dominate him. He got hurt. He got hit a lot in that fight. Yeah, AJ64. Teal's time is coming soon. Facts. Hope so. Does Morrell have enough to stop Mexican Monster? Hey, Morrell, J.R. Ryder. Morrell is a serious threat. He hasn't fought a lot of fighters. He don't have as many fights and as much experience as David Benavidez, but he is a live dog. And I'm not saying that the fight is worthy of pay-per-view. No, based on the what the stature of the boxer is, I feel like it should be free. But I feel like David Morrell is a live dog. He has boxing ability. He has boxing pedigree. He has power. Yeah, that's a dangerous fight for both of them. I feel like David Morrell is a live dog, and he could give problems to David Benavidez. But I think David Benavidez is going to take the fight. He's going to win. He got the experience. He's fought against a better competition. Not saying that that's going to be enough, but I think in this case it will be enough. I think David Benavidez is definitely he's gonna definitely beat. I feel like it's a 50-50 fight. It's very competitive, but I think he has a little more. Like I think David Benavidez is definitely gonna win the fight, and he just has a little more. Like as far as experience, and I feel like Morrell is underestimating David Benavidez's boxing ability. He's like calling him a robot that he just walks forward. But I think that David Benavidez does have deceptive boxing skills. He has boxing ability, defense going forward. Like going backwards, he's okay. He's not like as elusive as a Mayweather, Crawford, but he does have some boxing skills going forward. Like the way he can cut the ring, and he's actually defensive at times when he needs to be. He keeps a high guard up. Um, Frontline, Tony, esa camisa, fuego. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I got it online. Yeah, gracias. Um, Arnaldo Nieves. If Morel catches Benavides early, it can be over. But if it goes to the later rounds, Ben will KO Morel. That's a good perspective. I feel like I mean I'm excited about that fight, man. I feel like that fight is gonna be like pins and needles, and it's gonna have me on edge because I get so passionate when I see the fight, and I'm gonna be rooting for David Benavides. He's one of my favorite fighters too. Um, yeah, so yeah, thanks. Subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Gracias por estar sintonado con mi canal y apoyando mi canal. Suscríbete y disfruta el día tuyo y gracias por el apoyo, Tony Also. Y chequea la música mía on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, and all major platforms. I appreciate everybody tuning in to my channel. I got nothing but love and respect for everybody that tunes in. Subscribe to my channel. Click that like button. Subscribe to my music on Spotify, Pandora, Tony Also. Check out my music. I sing and I rap. I got music, like that. I got a new album coming out called Mi Patria. It talks about the situation of Puerto Rico, the colonization of the United States, and the politicians selling the island to outsiders. I talk about that, and I'm basically singing on most of the songs. 7 out of 10 songs, I'm singing Bomba Plena on 7 songs, and the other ones I'm rapping reggaeton with bomba and singing on the choruses. Just giving you a little versatility and basically representing Puerto Rican culture the way it is, the Afro, Boricua, bomba, and plena. And all the good authentic music, indigenous music of Puerto Rico. And I got another album called The Essence of Who I Am. It's dedicated to my mother. I got a little bit of R&B, hip hop, not hip hop. I did a lot of hip hop already. I got 2 hip hop albums on Spotify. Check it out: The Monumental Truth and The Prodigy of Albizu Campos. No, the Essence of Who I Am is gonna be Afro beats, a lot of singing. I got a song. I talk about AI, like I'm exposing the government, but I'm singing on a trap beat. I'm just singing and just flowing with it, And I have house music. I have R&B. I have the album is dedicated to my mother, who passed away 2023. I love her, and I just want to honor her. I got like 4 songs I did for her, 2 Afro beats and 2 slow jams, like actually an English and Spanish one, just to honor her. But the album is pretty upbeat as far as just representing the truth, the essence of who I am is basically what my mother taught me. Like, I may not be talking about my mother in every song that I have, but it's dedicated to her, and I'm just basically manifesting the truth and the stuff that I learned from my mother, how to be honest and have integrity. And the album represents that. I talk about stuff like government stuff, but at the same time I'm singing. I'm not rapping in this album. I only rap on 1 song. I feature as a rapper in my own song, but all the songs I'm singing, it's like Afro beats, R&B, house music, and I got a famous artist that's gonna be on the album with me. I can't say too much, but I'm gonna keep promoting it, and check out my music on Spotify. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Frontline. Tony got that Taino spirit. Yeah, of course. My father's an Afro Boricua. My father's father was an Afro Boricua. I got Indian blood. I got Spanish blood. I got a little mix. And I'm proud of my heritage, and I just love everybody that everybody that's real, no matter what race you are, white, black, Latino. We all have to just unite the tribes and be one for a common cause. To to fight for what's right. We gotta fight for what's right. Not what I'm saying. I don't want to get too deep, but yeah, I appreciate the comment. Frontline, Tony, that national spirit. Yeah, I appreciate you. Subscribe to my channel. I appreciate everybody tuning in. One love. Subscribe to that channel. Peace. Love y'all.